but it's fundamentally that notion of giving people the power and empowering people is like really deep in the ethos of the company. And I think whenever we mess that up, which we do frequently, we pay the price for it, and people don't like those things that we do, and then we have to run them back.
Well, that goes back to managing at scale, right? Because you're
Yeah.
just dealing with so many different people. But what I'm saying essentially is like I do agree that you are giving people the ability and the power to express themselves, and if you don't do it correctly, they're going to go to the competitors. But it's still an immense responsibility if there are choices being made as to like what gets amplified, what gets suppressed, what gets
Yeah.
removed from the platform. And I'm sure there has to be some pretty intense conversations about
Yeah.
how this is managed and handled, and the burden of that must be tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of different parts of what you just said. I mean, I think in terms of kind of helping people discover the things that they want, I think that's a pretty different wing of what we do than the policy setting of what is not allowed, which I think
Right.
is in a lot of ways, I think, a more controversial piece, because in the what's not allowed, you have to get into the nuances of specific types of content. Whereas in terms of the recommendation systems, you kind of want to build those to be agnostic of the type of content, right? It's like I don't like if I see that a team is trying to promote some type of content over another, they're almost certainly doing something wrong that is going to make us worse than a competitor in terms of effectiveness of our product, because you should just build this technology in a way that is agnostic and lets people express the interests and things that they want, and gives them that. And then every once in a while, I think that there are some editorial decisions that often they're important enough that I have to make them, right? Like that thing that we talked about before, which is like, I just don't want there to be as much anger. So we're going to
Right.
like not take into account the angry reaction. It's probably the case that there would be more engagement on the platform if we didn't, right? It's like people are expressing something and we're choosing to not listen to that thing. So at some level, it probably makes the product somewhat less engaging, but that's an example of an editorial decision that it's like, at some level, we're here not just to focus on what content people see, but the kind of emotional sense. But I try to make those very few, just because the technology can enable a vast breadth of interests that different people have. And I think part of how you build something that can serve billions of people is by not telling people what to think, right?